Carolina Wreck Divers is a group of divers including 12 divers out of Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. We came together approximately 4 years ago and on a vacation, a diving vacation in Curacao. We had the idea of diving off of our coast more so, taking advantage of what was there rather than traveling all over the world as we'd been traveling for the past 4 or 5 years with a specific group of divers, and exploring our waters more than we had in the past. That was kind of the birth of Carolina Wreck Divers. Myself, Lee Short, Gil Fry, and Doug Allen were the three that kind of started it, and quickly behind it, Andy Flo, who is a dive master with Bottom Times, joined us quickly thereafter, helped us set up the infrastructure of the club and get logos and websites and whatnot designed. We have been diving together now, like I said, for 3 or 4 years off the coast, many dive sites from the Civil War wreck to the Hebe, to the St. Cathan, and a lot of different really jewels that we have off the coast. We've also been diving and putting together trips to other locales, wreck locales, one Bikini Atoll, south of Japan, north of Australia last year for a 10-day trip, and which was a very neat dive that included World War II, World War I ships, the Saratoga, the Nagato, and a lot of battle cruisers. In the past, earlier in this video you saw us recovering a crate of rifles. I know at the moment it didn't look like a crate of rifles. It was very indistinguishable at that time, but with preservation techniques you can see what we've come up with. The guns, once we got them out of the crate, were somewhat in this condition, very rough, as you can tell, still with a lot of barnacles, a lot of rust-like material on the outside. None of the ferrous metals make it through the salt water. The barrel, the trigger itself, the inner working mechanisms of the gun here, all of that, the salt water eats it up, and the things that were remaining will be the wood and the brass. Brass does not deteriorate in salt water, and with some preservation you can end up with a gun of this nature and finish this well. You have a brass trigger guard here. The butt plates were brass as well. This is one of the better preserved guns that we have recovered out of the crates. The tip here is also brass. So as you can see, you with a little time and effort, you can have a nice piece like this. There's many different techniques of preserving the weapons, and we've done everything from soaking them for a year in distilled water to drying them out immediately afterwards and sanding them down. The way you get the barnacles and whatnot off is basically with hand sander, so it takes a lot of time. But then after they're sanded and dried out well, basically you protect them with a lacquer finish, and you can have a very nice piece like this with some time and effort, and it's really fun to share this sort of a relic with friends and family. Some of the other things that we've recovered, these items came off of what's known in our area as, it's been a controversial wreck. It's been called the Governor, it's been called the Swanee, it's been called the Civil War wreck. From what we have all found and the research we've done, there's nothing's come off the wreck that says that it's definitely the Swanee. We know it's not the Governor. The Governor went down in 1861. We recovered a Spencer rifle off the boat, off this wreck site that you saw earlier in the film, that was not distributed to troops until 1864. I also have some other artifacts here as far as the dating goes. This is a weight scale, and here on the weight scale you have some dates, and it says patent pending New York, 1867. So that postdates the governor as well. So we can pretty much eliminate that. Whether it's a Swanee or not, I don't think anybody will really know unless something, a bell or something very distinguishable comes off of it. So you have weight scales. We have found everything from pottery, and from the research we've done, a lot of this pottery was used for wash basins, spittoons, things of that nature. It's a very thick, heavy-duty pottery. Recently, on this past trip, I found a .67 caliber bullet. According to some of the Civil War historians that were on the boat with us, this is a pretty rare find. We found smaller calibers as well. I think this was .52, and musket balls. So there's lots of things to indicate that there were military supplies being transported transported somewhere. This is a bayonet that also came off of the boat, still in pretty good shape. This is ferrous metal, and basically with this, right out of the water, we hit it with lacquer and covered it, and it's held its own pretty well. But anything, again, that's a ferrous metal is going to start to deteriorate over time unless you go through the electrolysis process, which is pretty involved. We've also brought a lot of belt plates off of the boat. This one indicates U.S. So obviously this was probably a northern boat. This one is in pretty good shape. We've had them from very deteriorated to even better shape than this, and with everything from this is an infantry belt plate to officers' belt plates as well. So we've had a variety of different belt plates, and then as far as more heavy-duty stuff goes, this is what they say it's an 18-pound cannonball. I weighed it. It's a 25-pound cannonball, but that could be some water absorption that's increased the weight over a period of time. I could not find anything in the record books that talked about that. And then lastly is a parrot shell, which would have been shot through a cannon. This is a 9-pound parrot shell. So this particular wreck was loaded and ready for some kind of war or battle. So that's some of the relics that we've taken off of the dive site that you saw earlier. Carolina Wreck Divers, we've come together as a group of primarily technical divers, but we have a number of recreational divers that dive with us as well. And really the point of our club is to share and preserve artifacts that have been lost to the seas for over hundreds of years now, from Civil War to World War I, World War II wrecks, but to share those experiences and share those artifacts with others who may not dive. The way that we see it is that if we do not preserve these artifacts and go out and dive and bring them home, the sea will claim those artifacts in just a matter of another 20 or 30 years. With the way that the seawater deteriorates artifacts in the ships, they're going away very, very fast, and we hope to bring those home and share those with others.